So our biggest game this past week in the NFL was about a week ago on Thursday Night Football. Go figure, considering how most Thursday night games go, but this one was a pretty good matchup and ended up being a pretty good game between the Packers and the Cardinals, with the Packers dropping the undefeated Cardinals 24-21.
Yeah, so we get another reminder this season that Aaron Rodgers is in fact a bad man and is not one who you should doubt. He had most of his receiving core out, and he comes through and knocks off the undefeated Cardinals. So, how'd they do it? We'll look at the stats. Aaron Rodgers goes 22 for 37, gets 184 yards, throws 2 touchdowns, and does not have any turnovers. A.J. Dillon rushed for 78 yards. Aaron Jones rushed for 59 yards and got himself a touchdown. Randall Cobb got 2 touchdowns on just 15 yards, but he was there when he needed to be. And Aaron Jones also led in receiving yards with 51. Henry Black picked off Kyler Murray early on in the game, and Rasul Douglas gets the game-winning interception. So for the Cardinals, Kyler goes 22 for 33, 274 yards, but throws no touchdowns and 2 picks. Chase Edmonds rushed in for a touchdown early, and James Conner rushes for 2 more. Chase had 30 yards leading in rushing, and Conner had 22. DeAndre Hopkins leads them in receiving yards with 66, followed by A.J. Green with 50 yards. A.J. we will discuss a little more in a minute, not in a positive light. Rondale Moore lost a fumble in this game, and Kyler managed to recover one of his own. It's a pretty good game. It was a good back and forth. At the end of the game, it really could have came out to anyone. But the Cardinals march all the way down the field. It looks like they're about to steal it. And Kyler throws a pass intended for A.J. Green. A.J. does not turn around, does not even acknowledge the fact that he could be a target of a pass. And Rasul Douglas gets the easy interception. They walk it off and win 24-21.
Yeah, so just a few things to talk about here. Aaron Rodgers is definitely a bad man. I've been an Aaron Rodgers fan for a while. I'm not going to act like he threw for 400 yards here, but he did what he had to do, considering didn't have Devontae Adams, didn't have Lazard, and he didn't have MVS. You're missing the top 3 guys on your receiving core. Generally, that means you're going to lose, but with Aaron Rodgers, he was able to get it done. The running game was definitely on point for them. A.J. Dillon with 80 yards. Aaron Jones with 16 and a touchdown. And they were pretty solid overall. On offense, it wasn't a very explosive night for either team, but they had to do what they had to do, and they got it done. So you have to give them credit there. For the Cardinals, they definitely could have looked a whole lot better. I mean, they got it down to that last play, but this was probably one of the worst games for the Cardinals this season. About halfway through now. Kyler Murray, he had almost 300 yards, but that's not really a good 300 yards in a way. It's not his best performance for sure. Obviously, the first pick is a lot different than the second pick. The second one wasn't on him, but still, he has 2 interceptions in that game. You had a DeAndre Hopkins touchdown. They got taken off the board early because he grabbed the defender's face mask, but that got taken away. But overall, the penalties on both sides were even. About 60 yards of penalties for each team on 7 penalties. It's just the turnovers. The Packers, they're able to get all the way down to the end zone. They go for it on 4th down, and it pretty much just ends up in a crap play. It gets tipped as he's trying to pass to Randall Cobb, it looked like, and they turn over on downs. But before that, they had to lay a game on the 1-yard line, and you just cannot have that in any scenario. They burned their timeouts pretty easily earlier, and that was just mismanagement and miscues there. So they burned those timeouts. You have a delay game on the 1-yard line after you had a touchdown that was overturned. I guess that was kind of a makeup from the one that they gave to Aaron Jones earlier, because that one didn't really seem like that was a touchdown. But regardless, they overturned it. You try it again on 2nd down, nothing. 3rd down, you get a penalty. And then the next 3rd down, when they retry it, obviously, Aaron, he gets a good run. And then that 4th down, like I said, incomplete pass just tipped. At that point, I'm like, okay, the Cardinals could have given up a touchdown and the game would have been over. They could have given up a field goal and they would have needed a touchdown to win. But the fact that they are able to get off the field in that scenario and not allow any points, kudos to them. For the Packers, that had they lost that game, everybody would have been pointing to that um, drive screw up at the end, pretty much. So they're lucky that they got out of there with the win. Now, moving over to the Cardinals' last drive, they were going down the field pretty fast. That first few plays, they were all the way backed up at like the 5 yard line. First few plays didn't go anywhere. And then you get a few deep passes, and you're already in Green Bay territory just like that. So, like, heck, they can go ahead and not worry about a field goal and go ahead and try to win the game. They start to slow down a little bit. And a few plays later, you get to a point where it looks like Kyler didn't get the first down, but they gave it to him. And I'm not really sure about that one, but regardless, he gets the first down, and they're like, all right, so they should easily be able to at least try for a touchdown. But they just I don't know what they were doing on that last part of the drive. Another example of mismanagement. And that last play with AJ Green, I really have no idea what AJ Green was doing. I'm assuming that he didn't. Well, obviously he didn't think that they were going to pass to him, but I'm assuming that like they called the play and he just assumed like, all right, it's not going to come to me or something because or he missed an audible that Kyler made or whatever. But he was clearly not looking for the ball, and that kind of just screwed him. Obviously, because Razul Douglas gets the interception like it was nothing, and they win. So I have to give credit to Green Bay. You're missing so many guys on both sides of the ball, and they were able to go into Arizona on the road and beat an undefeated team. So hats off to them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very impressive win despite how ugly it got at the end. For them to walk off that last drive without putting any points on the board, that was not the best situation. I mean, even a field goal at that point at least puts you in a slightly better position. Like, it's not worth a whole lot. Getting the touchdown there is definitely better, but coming up with nothing is not a good way to end that drive. And that delay a game penalty is not something you can do in that situation. I mean, the only positive is you're pushed back a little further, which gives you more time to eat up some clock and try to run into the end zone. But there's no positive for that when you look at the fact that they didn't make it into the end zone, and they really didn't eat up that much clock either. I mean, they gave the Cardinals enough time to get all the way back to the end zone. And AJ Green was actually pretty instrumental in that. He had that one 23-yard reception on that drive and helped them get pretty far down the field. But then, yeah, I think Terrence is correct. I think he either just didn't think the pass was coming to him, like that it wasn't communicated that that's what was going to happen, or he missed something, and it just didn't work out for him. Douglas gets the easy interception. I mean, just right to him, and they walk it off. They win the game. It's a nice win. You got to give it to Aaron. You got to give it to the whole team. They came in and did something that most other teams probably wouldn't have been able to do without their top receiving core and without some of their defensive pieces. I mean, this was an undefeated team. The Cardinals are good on both ends, and the Green Bay Packers made it look like they were not so good on either end at some points in that game. So shout out to them. They come up 7-1, and now they lead the NFC, which we'll get more into later.